Welcome to Catholic Mom Mindset, a daily show where you learn to walk closely with the Holy Spirit so you can live the life God is calling you to. I'm your host, Sterling Jaquith. Let us begin. Welcome back. Recently, I've been thinking about how would I live my life differently if I knew Jesus was coming, like the second coming of Christ was this Christmas. Because of course, when Jesus told the apostles that he was coming back, they were like, cool, we'll wait for you. And they did that for a long time, probably even a few generations. But for us, 2,000 years later, most of us aren't looking right now for the coming of Christ. And for me, it's not helpful to think, what would I do differently if he came tomorrow? But I kind of like this time frame of Christmas because at this point it's, September. And so it's a few months away. If baby Jesus didn't come back as baby Jesus at Christmas and Jesus came back and I knew that that was coming, how would I live my life differently in the next 90 days? And what instantly came to my mind was love and forgiveness. Because we couldn't just, I don't like that the response is, oh, let's just take all our money and travel the world and go to Disneyland and do all of those things. That response never feels good or practical to me. I think I would still mostly live my life. But I would do it with so much more love and so much more forgiveness. And I think that we think that we've forgiven people when we haven't. And the way that you know is if there are people in your life where you heard something really good happen to them, you wouldn't be happy for them. Like that will just show you who maybe you haven't quite forgiven. Like if there's a person and something really wonderful happened to them and you were just like, any kind of crinkliness in your heart, maybe you haven't forgiven them. And Mother Angelica has this great quote. She says, you can't go to heaven hating someone. Forgive now. Be compassionate now. Be patient now. Be grateful now. Love Jesus and Mary now. Accept God's will now. And to me, all of those are kind of the steps of what I would do if I knew that Jesus was coming in a short period of time. I would want to desire God's will. I would want to walk closely with Mary and Jesus. I would want to put so much more compassion into everything that I do. And I would want to forgive anybody that I had any weirdness with. Which doesn't necessarily mean you even have to go find that person and do it verbally. Maybe you should. But forgiveness is in your heart. And just really going through the major relationships of your life and saying, can I forgive them? And the thing that you may need to forgive is yourself about how you behaved in that relationship too. So I just thought this was such a great thought exercise. If Jesus were really coming and the lines are going to be drawn, you're going to heaven or you're not, how would you act in the next 90 days? How would you level up your love and compassion and your forgiveness and walking so closely with Jesus and Mary and desiring God's will? How are you even discerning God's will? And then desiring it and then choosing it. I want you to walk around thinking about that today. I want you to see how you're showing up in your day-to-day life and how you could just elevate it a little bit more so it looked more like sainthood. Thank you so much for listening and have a blessed day. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Catholic Mom Mindset. To learn more about growing closer to the Holy Spirit, check out our free resources at madeforgreatness.co. Thank you so much for listening and have a blessed day.